Hey, brothers and sisters. Today is October 6th, 2022. Just want to share something else with you guys. About 6 months ago, I shared this on my community post. It was a word that I heard in the Spirit from the Lord, and I heard the word preemptive. This is from our awesome sister Lisa from Watchwoman 65. Ukraine is calling for a preemptive strike from NATO to keep Russia from using a nuke.
I just got some very disturbing news, and this is going to definitely call for a strike from Russia. Zelensky is now calling for a preemptive strike from NATO to keep Russia from using nukes. Now I got an article too. Hal Turner just got something also. So this says here, Ukrainian President Zelensky calls on NATO. He called on NATO to conduct preemptive strikes against Russian targets to prevent their use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine. He said these strikes are needed so that the Russians know what awaits them if they use nuclear weapons. This man has a suicide watch or a suicide mission. For real. He said this today during an event with the Australian think tank, the Lowy Institute. Not the other way around, waiting for Russia's nuclear strikes and then saying, you've done that, then get this. He wants to do it now. So, his comments come amid increased concern that Russian President Putin could use a tactical nuke weapon amid developments in the war out of his control and against interest. Russia is moving forward. Now, keep in mind, if Ukraine uses that nuke, guess where it's from? I'll give you a hint. The U.S. I'm just saying. Russia is moving forward with the annexation of 4 regions in south and eastern Ukraine. An outcry from the West that it is in violation of international law. Putin's already done this, so during the annexation process, which included, they call it sham referendums that supposedly passed with overwhelming support, Putin continued to saber-rattle, threatening to use nuclear weapons, threats that he has made throughout the war, despite the concern. However, U.S. officials have reiterated as recently as this week that they have seen no reason to change their nuclear posture. While the FDA approves radiation tablets. Okay. So somebody's worried. The administration announced new sanctions against Russian officials following the annexation, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan warned of catastrophic consequences should they launch a nuke. But they have been tight-lipped about what that response would include. Of course. Admiral Rob Bauer, chairman of NATO's military committee, warned earlier this week that Russia would regret if they used a nuke, telling the Warsaw Security Forum the response would be such that the Russians will regret what they have done. And I think it's extremely important. You know what? You gotta pardon me, my allergies are kicking in. It's warm out today, and that's not a good deal. in this season. The U.S. don't stand a chance. I'm sorry, but they don't. He, like Sullivan, did not provide specifics on what a response could entail because they don't have a response. I mean, seriously, they don't have a response. Tobias Elwood, who chairs the House of Commons Defense Committee, said earlier this week that NATO could respond using conventional military actions, probably involving every F-35 in NATO's arsenal, and taking out perhaps every asset that is in Ukraine itself. The idea of strategic ambiguity, of being vague about what you might do, but you might do something, is not strong enough. And he's right. I mean, seriously, that's because this is how weak the U.S. That's why North Korea is doing what they're doing. Because they figure if Russia can do this, why can't they do it? So they're all going to do it. Putin ordered a partial mobilization of roughly 300,000 Russian conscripts last month after Ukraine forces executed a successful counteroffensive. Though the announcement also sparked a large exodus of draft-eligible men to flee the country, either by car or air. Others have taken to the streets in some cities to protest. Now, this is what came out. This came out an hour from Hal Turner, an hour before this article I just read you came out. Russian authorities in Kherson announced that all school children be evacuated to Crimea. In reality, this is, as the Germans calls it, I'm not going to say the word because you know I'm not German and I will mess that word up. But I will link it in the description box. Officials from the region say the schools will stay closed until 21st of October for security reasons, which also necessitate evacuation. It is described this means that heavy bombardment of the cities is expected, and they're moving the kids out before it begins Highway to Hell with no off-ramp. This is what is being shared by an overwhelming majority of Russian channels right now. Possibly leaked from a source way up in the command chain or about to be established in a position of power. So, what could that mean? It could mean destroying Ukraine's power supply, hitting rail and road logistic hubs, destruction of tunnels and bridges, destruction of all bridges, housing, government offices. It could be an elimination of Ukraine's political leadership, diversory operations to undermine military supply, training, intelligence, etc. Hubs in Poland, Germany, Romania, the Baltics, England. It should be considered a massive attack. Internationalization of armed forces, involvement of allies, Vietnam, North Korea, armed formations from CIS countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Africa, etc. Folks, this is huge. It could mean a lot of things, but it sounds like somebody's about to get leveled. Procurement and supply of troops at the expense of military allies. Nothing more to be embarrassed about. Strikes on military satellites of Western countries over Ukraine. Air defense, no-fly zone over Ukraine. Destroying strategically important dams. Carrying out a tightly controlled, detailed, and coordinated offensive operation. That could mean all of that. Right there. Listen, I just got off the phone with Matt Wackadoodle. We both agree on the same thing. The rapture is so close that is undeniable. The Antichrist, and like I said yesterday, is about to step foot on the stage. The church is about to leave here. Real soon. Am I saying that just to be saying it? Or I guess some people will write me and say, well, what if we're still here next year? And then I keep doing the same thing I am doing. I keep doing the same thing I'm doing right now.
So I just wanted to share that with you guys. All I can say is look up. And the only sentence my son has ever said years ago, which I've shared several times, only sentence he's ever said in English was, be a ready. Be all right. Be all right. I know it. Going away. Be awake. And I know that that was the Lord speaking through him, my nonverbal son. He has spoken in 9 different languages. Anyways, just wanted to share this with you guys, so just don't be afraid. And soon we will not remember any of the sufferings of this world ever again, and our joy will be made full, and no one will ever take it from us. And we will be with Jesus forever. I can't wait. If you haven't believed in Jesus for your salvation, there's no better time than right now. He died for you, for all of your sins. And he loves you with an everlasting love. All you have to do is believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ for the atonement of your sins. Just believe. Love you guys. See you soon. Hold fast. Let no one take your crown.